What's going on YouTube? And we're back at it again today with another video. And today I'm bringing you guys the top 10 most exciting things about the 2023-2024 NBA season. Coming in at number 1 has to be the in-season tournament. It's one of the dopest things that the NBA has added since the play-in tournament, and the play-in tournament has turned out to be successful even though everybody had mixed feelings about it when it came out. If you look here, we have 6 different groups. In each group, the best record out of playing 4 games in their group, which would be 2 at home, 2 on the road. Whoever has the best record coming out of that group will then go into the bracket play. So that means that you will start out with those 6 best teams. But wait, it gets better. They have wild cards. So if you look at the west side and you look at the east side, you're going to have one team from the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference that makes the wild card spot. Isn't that fucking crazy? That's nuts. So you're going to have one team from the West, one team from the East, and they're going to make that 4th spot or that 4th seed in the bracket. So that team will be playing the best team. So essentially there's 4 teams coming from each conference, but I mean only one person coming from each group. That's weird to me, but hey, it's whatever. We keep rolling. And then from there, they're going to go down and they're going to do the knockout rounds. That starts on December 4th or 5th, and that's where they start playing in their bracket, and they do the worst team versus the best team, and then they go on to the championship game on December 9th. That is going to be in Las Vegas. I think it's dope because Las Vegas is kind of dying for a team, and to bring this play until Las Vegas, it just adds something for the players to want to do, because guys like James Harden is going to want to be in Las Vegas. Like, come on now, that's going to be somewhere that he would like to play. That's going to be something that they like to do. And for the pricing, well, I mean they give them a little bit of money. And if you see the contracts that they're signing, I mean, I don't know if anybody's seen Jaylen Brown's contract, but the contracts are signing. I don't think this is enough to make the in-season tournament worth it. I mean, after the tournament though, the NBA is going to give a most valuable player of the whole tournament, and then they're going to do an all-tournament team. Selection will be based on players' performance in both group play and the knockout rounds. I personally think that this is going to be dope, but until they start fighting for like a playoff spot this early, like, hey, you win this tournament, you're guaranteed an 8th seed in your conference. Unless you are higher in the bracket, you're guaranteed an 8th seed. Then I don't think it will be that important to some of these players. I mean, y'all let me know what you think. Coming in at number 2 is going to be the new flopping rule. They also came out with the announcement of the in-season tournament. They also said that, hey, we're sick of y'all's flopping. Here is a new rule. So from now on, any players that get caught flopping or intentionally trying to get a foul, they're going to get assessed a technical foul, which is going to be 1 free throw, and the ball goes to the other team. Isn't that crazy? There's so many players like LeBron James, and LeBron James who just flop all the time. And like, that's how much of their game it's going to change. We just don't know yet. We don't know if LeBron's going to go back to the player. Sorry. We don't know if the NBA players are going to go back to what they used to do, which is actually scoring the ball, or they're actually going to play defense and not just flop. I think that this is really good for the league, and it's going to bring back that intensity and that honest basketball that I feel like the game is just missing today. I feel like people are just flopping and overreacting. It sometimes doesn't make the game fun to watch. And then there's players who flop and they get calls when I don't even think they deserve it yet. Austin Reeves. But I think this is really good for the game, and it's a great step in the next direction. And this is for sure one of the biggest things that's going to change this season and change a lot of players' careers. Coming in at number 3 is going to be the challenge rule. So they changed the challenges to, hey, if you do a challenge and you're successful, you get to keep your challenge and you get another one. So the challenge now is, hey, I just challenged and I was successful with a successful challenge. I will keep my challenge and I will have that for the rest of the game. So essentially you have 2 if you get the first one correct. But if your challenge isn't successful, then hey, sorry, you're out of luck, bud. You should have got it right the first time. But this just is another thing that adds a spice to the NBA that you kind of need to make it more interesting. And I think that some teams like wasted a lot of their challenges last year, and they feel like this is a great role that they need. Sometimes you feel like a play in the first quarter is pretty important, and it turns out to be, hey, how about that 3-second shot that somebody got fouled on, with 2 seconds left on the clock? Like, that right there is kind of more important. So this is why the NBA came out with this rule, and this is why this is going to be important to the game next year. I'm excited to see it. Coming in at number 4 is going to be none other than the Damian Lillard trade talks. Damian Lillard is on the trade block right now, and he wants to go to the Miami Heat, and it's not looking too likely because the Miami Heat just does not have enough to offer for this guy. I mean, Damian Lillard, he's been down for Portland since he came in, and he really tried to stay there and trust the grind. He wanted to be that guy who was like, we're going to build a team here and I'm going to win a championship. But after the Trailblazers took that number 3 pick and took Scoot, he said, you know what? I'm out of here. Y'all don't listen to me. I wanted you to trade the pick and get me a good player, and you didn't do that. Instead, you picked Scoot Henderson and signed Jeremy Grant to the biggest steal of the offseason, I'm guessing, other than Jaylen Brown's contract, like I said. But, I mean, he wanted to be there, and they just didn't step up. And now he wants to go to the Miami Heat, and I think that he would be a great fit over there if they can get some pieces. Otherwise, the Damian Lillard sweepstakes is going to be open. I mean, I just feel like there's so many teams that could use him out there, and there's so many teams that have enough pieces to trade for him. I wouldn't be surprised that if Portland was like, you know what, we're picking what we need, and we're not going to send you where you want to go. That's important, but hey, how important is it if you're not on our team no more? Coming in at number 5 is going to be Mr. Greatest Prospect of all time himself, Victor Wembanyama. Well, while we all watched Victor Wembanyama's first game and we seen that he looks like a baby deer some plays, he showed a lot of flashes of being a really great player, especially on the defensive end. Late games, I could see him blocking game-winning shots and probably hitting game-winning shots. I mean, once he figures his game out in the NBA, it's probably going to be endless opportunities for him. But then there's that other bet of like, will he even be good on offense in the NBA? One thing I can always bet on is this guy will be great on defense. But, he's 7'3", so he's going to be great on defense. No matter what, this guy's going to have a roster spot just because of how tall he is and how great and aware he is on the defensive end. I feel that this is going to be a change for the NBA's game, and hopefully he pans out to be the star that we think he is. If he does, then this could be a really important season for the Spurs going into free agency next year to be like, hey, we want to play with this Victor Wembanyama guy, and I'll do whatever it takes. It's really dope, and I'm excited to see how it turns out. Coming in at number 6 is going to be the Golden State Warriors. This team has a lot to prove after what happened in that disappointing second round against the Los Angeles Lakers. They picked a few pieces up this offseason, but will we know if it's enough? In my last video, I talked about it, so if you haven't seen that video, go watch it. I feel as if they have a pretty interesting core coming back in, and I know that Mr. Klay Thompson himself is coming back for a vengeance season. He feels that he let the team down. He feels like he didn't shoot well enough in the playoffs. This is going to be a season I feel like Klay Thompson comes out and he really strives. If you think that, any different, feel free to let me know in the comments on this video, or go watch my last video so you can see what I really go in depth about for this team. I'm excited, and I think they really built a strong veteran core that can probably go deep into the playoffs and maybe even the NBA championship. Coming in at number 7, no other than the Los Angeles Lakers. This team went pretty crazy in free agency and just signed a bunch of people. They signed D'Angelo Russell back. They signed Roy Hachimura back. They signed Austin Reeves back. And then they picked up Taurean Prince, Gabe Vincent coming off of fantastic playoffs, and Cam Reddish, who has untapped potential, and a few other pieces that, we probably don't remember the names of, but like they went pretty solid here in this free agency, and they did better than any other team thought they would. Do these players want to play with LeBron James and probably just, glaze all day? Probably. But the problem is it worked. The LeBron James effect worked, and people said, you know what? I want to go be a part of that. There's plenty of other teams that could have signed these good players and gave more money, but they wanted to sacrifice that and go to the Los Angeles Lakers. But I think the Lakers have a really, really high chance of becoming title favorites next year, or even make it to the NBA championship. They have to be consistent. They have to be well on the defensive end, and LeBron just has to be the LeBron that we know he can be and that he showed. I'm excited for it. We got none other than the Phoenix Suns coming in at number 8. Probably one of the most craziest built super teams I've ever seen in my life. You have Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, KD, Eric Gordon. Who else can I even add in there? Some of the bums that they picked up, the Yuta Watanabe guy. That's DeAndre Ayton, of course. I'm excited for everyone else to shut them down. That's what I'm excited for. I'm excited for people to run the score up on them because they can't play defense. I'm excited to see them lose because they went this hard at trying to drop a bag to get all of these good players to not make the game fun. I'm excited to see people whoop this team's ass because they're running from the ground. But of course, they're a good team. I'm going to keep this monotone voice because I'm disappointed in what Phoenix is doing over there. And I'm disappointed in all of these role players for even signing with a super team. Go somewhere else. Go be effective on a contender or someone decent. Why run away from the grind? Because other people do it doesn't make it okay. But hey, it's whatever. Coming in at none other than number 9, the Denver Nuggets. So the Denver Nuggets were probably one of the most excited teams in the playoffs as soon as the Warriors got put out. And Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic did their thing. They really played way better than anyone expected them to. And if you think that they played the normal way they usually do, please leave me a comment and let me know if I'm wrong. The Denver Nuggets are going to be an exciting team next year, not only because of what they have, but they won a championship. They are the reigning champions. You have to look at them as a threat. If you don't, then you're crazy. I think this team's going to make some more noise. Do I think they'll win back-to-back? Not even close. Not even close. Maybe second round this year. But they have so much potential. And they didn't really make no noise in free agency. They actually lost a couple players. They lost Jeff Green to the Rockets. They lost Bruce Brown to the Pacers. What was the retention looking like on this side of the West? Because everybody just went to the Lakers and not many people kept their key pieces. And Nuggets, they really needed some of those players that they lost because those guys made more of an impact than most of the other people on the team. I'm excited to see where the Nuggets go this year, but will they be able to make it out of the second round with losing some key pieces? I don't know. Coming in at number 10. None other than probably the most exciting young team, but probably one of the best teams in free agency this year, the Houston Rockets. So first off, they drafted Amen Thompson, who's going to be a dog in the league. And second, they drafted probably the best steal that we've seen in years in Cam Whitmore. He was a Summer League MVP, and I would love to see where they're going to fit him into the rotation. They got Jeff Green, they got Dylan Brooks, and they got none other than Drake. Drake himself. No, I'm joking. They got Fred VanVleet. But, he's going to make a big difference to this team. And they still have Jalen Green. And people still forgot. They have Kevin Porter Jr., who's solid. They have, I don't know how to say his name, but Alperen Sengun. He is a dog. And this team is going to be messed with this season in the playoffs. And I think that, yeah, you heard me say it, playoffs. This team, I am saying that is going to the playoffs. There's no way they miss the playoffs this year. With what they have, there is no way this team does not make the playoffs. I'm so excited to see what this team does in Houston. And I mean, I might go down and catch a game this year just because of how exciting I think this team can be. They really stepped up in free agency and draft, and other teams let them build probably a nice dynasty young core here. But y'all drop a comment and let me know. Well, everybody, that's the top 10 highlights for this upcoming NBA season in 2023-2024. This is going to be one of the best seasons we've seen in the last couple of years. And, you know, it's not a balanced NBA just because, you know, the Phoenix Suns took everybody, but it's a solid season when you think about where teams were last year and where they're at this year. We have probably one of the best rookie classes in about 4 to 5 years, if we're being honest. They have so much talent and they're just developing as they come in nowadays. And I'm excited to see what this in-season tournament does and this flopping rule so that we don't get all this BS basketball we've been watching recently. And we got a really stacked West. Probably one of the most stacked West we've ever seen of all time. And it's going to make a very important change to the game, having these players compete at the highest level and compete in tournaments and compete against young players and play the game because they changed. Oh, let me throw that in there as just a little, what do they call those bad boys? Honorable mentions. Honorable mention, you have to play a minimum of 65 games to even be recommended for some of the top NBA awards like MVP and Sixth Man of the Year and, you know, all the top awards and all NBA teams. So we'll probably see more players playing in games this year, and it's going to be fun and it's going to be exciting, and it's a season for the ages. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, drop a comment, and hit that subscribe button if you really want to see another video. And if you didn't see my old Golden State video from a couple weeks ago, go watch the Golden State video, and it will break down a depth video of what I think the Golden State Warriors are capable of this year. Thank you, appreciate it. Y'all boys have a good day.